Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the first of two videos. Now, depending on the length of this first video, second video may or may not be posted today. So we'll see what happens with this first video. But we are looking at two review videos today. The first is from the figure collection store, the Wrestle Something Wrestlers. We do have a couple of Macho Man figures to look at. And we also have a couple of figures from Hastel Toys, Grapplers and Gimmicks. Now, I did say that there were a couple of new British Bulldog figures that were coming in. And I was going to look at basically a whole slew of Davey Boy Smith figures from the different toy lines. And yes, I am planning on making that video. But I have decided to go ahead and do a review on the Hastel Toys figures individually as well. So that bundle of figures, I might do that as a follow-up video, or it might be a few videos down the road. I haven't decided as of yet. I'm still pondering right now if I want to continue on the second round of the My Favorite LJN tournament. So I'm kind of like batting myself back and forth, playing ping pong with the idea if I want to take a week off or if I want to dive right into the second thing. Realistically, I know I need a break, but I really enjoy making the videos for the tournament. I just wish that these darn videos weren't taking like 45 minutes every time out. If they were hovering around 30 minutes like they should be, they would be a little bit more enjoyable for me to make. But it's just the time consumption to make each video, which is making it a little bit more of a hindrance. But I'm not going to talk too much at the beginning of this video because I want to dive right into the Wrestle Something Wrestlers and take a look at the new release from the figure collection store. So the first one we are going to look at, as I mentioned, is the Macho Man figure. Now, I'm going to take this one out of the package. So one of the things that I talked about several videos ago, Ringside Collectibles, they're no longer offering the individual packaging for like your individual carded Hasbro figures or your individual Mattel Retro packages, but they do have like these upscaled packages for your 2-packs, your Hasbro 2-packs of Legion of Doom or Nasty Boys, Rockers, things like that. If you do get 2-packs of like Cello Toys, if you get like the Diana and British Bulldog 2-pack from Hastel Toys, Mo and Mabel from Hastel Toys, stuff like that, those figures will fit in those 2-packs. But they've been sold out for the single pack for weeks now, and it's irritating. But this is considered Series 2. Now, one of the things I do appreciate about Wrestle Something Wrestlers is that they are not only keeping in line with the design of the carding of the 1990s Hasbros, but they're also keeping in line, keeping in track with your Series 1 figures and your Series 2 figures. So you can go back and you can see what they had released from Series 1. A lot of these companies, yes, Wrestle Something Wrestlers, they fall into that category, which is very frustrating. It's because they keep releasing the same exact figures with different paint schemes. So it's okay here and there to have certain figures with alternative variants. You know, especially Macho Man, because he has so many fantastic looks. The Ultimate Warrior has like a gazillion incredible, phenomenal looks. I'm like, okay, you want to come out with like 30,000 different Ultimate Warriors? I'm okay with that because there are so many different looks that I would gravitate towards, and it would be hard to pick a favorite. But I talked about the Joey Knight from Cello Toys, which was like 15 different paint schemes. I look at this card, I look at this Colt Cabana guy, right? Kind of backtrack a little bit. 3 different variants. Effie has a couple different variants. Same exact figure. He has like a light, darker purple in a lighter pink. For example, Chelsea Green has like 2 or 3 different variants. The Mosh and Thrasher from the Headbangers, they got a couple different variants on 2-packs. Mike Shota, referee, I think his referee is one variant, but he has 2 different card backings. So that the card backing is a variant. And I'm like, man, that's frustrating. Because like guys like me, yes, you know for sure we are going to go and we're going to pick up every single variant. And it's not just the fact that we got to pick up all the variants, but I am a mint on card collector. But when I do my reviews, I want to be able to actually show you the loose figure as well, so that you can kind of give up close and personal looks of what these figures actually look like, right? So when you got 2 releases of Macho Man, you're not buying 2 figures, you're buying 4 figures. So it can be pricey. No, it can't not. It can be. It is. It's expensive. So, looking at what's to be released, Marcus Bagwell, Buff Bagwell looks amazing. The Patriot looks absolutely fantastic. This guy here, Vlad, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce our last name. I just thought that was some like generic guy that they tried creating. Like maybe he's like one of the artists or something that works at the figure collection store or something. But maybe he is like an actual wrestler or something. I don't know. Not exactly the most enthusiastic figure. Very plain jumper. But I like the fact that they at least show you what's to be expected in the series, the upcoming series. So that's something special. Really nice card backing. And because I've gotten figures from Hastel Toys, I've got figures from the figure collection store recently in back-to-back days. I kind of compare the figures, and yeah, they are pretty respectable in size comparison. But when we start looking at like all of the different Davey Boy Smith figures from all the different toy lines, we're going to start looking at the figures. We're going to look at them compared to like the Hasbro figure, because Hasbro started it all, and Hasbro is the quintessential #1 toy line, right? It's the toy line that it's the be-all, end-all of toy lines. If you're a kid of the 80s, growing up in the 80s, yeah, LJNs. And today you're going to have like Ram Treasures is a nice one. Big Rubber Guys from the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast is a great one. There's this new toy company I just came across, the Tootsie or... Ah, man. I forgot the name. I just bought a couple of Randy Savage figures from them the other day. And I came across them by chance. But they look like they could be some really amazing LJN figures in the future. But those should be released in a couple of weeks. And I'm really excited about getting those reviews out as well when those figures come in. But when we start comparing them, they're nice. They're comparable to an extent of the Hasbro, but they are still relatively thin and small. They're not as bulky or wide as the Hasbros, so I'm not as enthusiastic with the different sizes. And I look at these figures, right? They look absolutely spectacular. And I kind of looked at the figure, right? And I'm like, I don't know, can I be mad at this? I talk about play pose because I will always have that 5-year-old, that 6-year-old mindset where you hold an action figure in your hand, especially the wrestling action figure, and you want to sit there, you want to wrestle the figure. Am I ever going to wrestle these guys? Of course not. But do I always want to sit there and kind of like feel like I want to wrestle them? Of course. I held this in my hand, and I'm like, I had no inkling to sit there and kind of bat these guys back and forth. So, I think for the first time ever, of all my collections, I really had no interest in, like, kind of pitting these guys up against each other in a match. So, I kind of looked at it, and it is what it is. It's a nice piece of art. It's a display piece. And I wasn't really focusing too much on the playability of the figure. So you could do some things with this right arm right, but this left arm makes it a basically worthless figure. And it kind of reminds me of like your Series 1 Hasbro of Rick Rude. Series 6 Ric Flair Hasbro. Series 11 1, 2, 3 Kid. You know, the the head punching thing. So it's a worthless pose. It's a fantastic looking figure overall, but that's all it is. It's a designer piece. It's for display. It's artwork, and you're not going to look at it any other way. As I said, they did come out with multiple pieces. Now, I don't mind that they came out with multiple figures. I don't know necessarily if I would have approved having multiple Randy Savages. Now, they are basically two completely different figures. Well, not completely different figures. They're same figures, just different paint schemes. And if you are going to come out with a different Randy Savage, for example, I would have at least appreciated a different pose, something unique, right? But you're not doing that. I mean, if you're creating 1,000 Randy Savage molds, you're not going to basically create 1,000 of the same paint job, because there's no guarantee that 1,000 people out there are going to purchase that paint mold. But if you do a 250 of a single paint mold, guess what? 250 people might buy that paint mold. You take that exact same figure, you paint to another 200 to 350, and you paint it a different way. You might have those same people that purchased the other one might buy the variant, and then you still have all these other paint molds. You could paint it another different, and that same people got to buy it a third time because. So I get it from that perspective. You're gonna have your loyalists, and you're gonna have your people with the mindset like me, like, hey, I gotta have every variant. As a collector, you gotta feel 100%, and having just one of these is not gonna make me feel complete. It's not gonna make me feel like I'm at 100%. If they came out with 5 of these figures, and I had one, okay, one figure, yeah, it's nice, but I mean, if they came out with five Randy Savages, you gotta have 5 Randy Savages, or else it's not complete. So it's with the pink trunks, you're basically kind of looking at like what the Big Rubber guys did with their Series 3 LGN version of Randy Savage. Came out with the whole one finger up, right hand up, Randy Savage LGN figure. Excuse me. Now, the initial design was for orange trunks with stars, right? And of course, you had that, not a Comic-Con, what do I call it? WrestleCon release, where he was in like neon lime green trunks. And then you had a re-release with like the bright pink trunks with the stars as well. So you basically got 3 different variants of Randy Savage. Did they really need all of those? I mean, one figure was fine. If you wanted to come up with a second variant, something super splendid, spectacular, like that WrestleCon exclusive, but coming out with a third one, again, these businesses, they're only doing it because they have all of these extra molds and stuff, and they're not selling, and so they're coming out with these extra color schemes because they know people like me exist, and they know we're going to buy them because we got to have them to complete the collection. So I kind of feel like it's taking advantage of your consumers. I mean, someone another customer could come out and say, hey, you know what? I like the pink. I see these 3 figures. I like the pink one the best. I'm going to go for that one. But most people, most collectors aren't gonna think that way. They're gonna see 3 figures. They're gonna want 3 figures. So, like I said, these are what they are. The one thing I do appreciate with like Mattel Retros is the fact that they do try to emulate the Hasbro collection as much as possible with the working action features. And every time I get a Cello toy / Epic Toys, grapplers and gimmicks, heels and faces, any of these different toy lines, Rush Collectible remasters, I always kind of sit there and I kind of want to look at the different actions, and those actions just simply don't exist on those figures because they don't have the spring-loaded mechanisms. But I'm so used to being a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old, working with my Hasbros and having those functions. So they are really solid pieces. They look spectacular. Are they worth the money? I think they're nice additions. I'm glad to have them. I don't like having to pay for 4 of them so that I can have a loose and carded collection, but it is what it is. So, we're pushing 20 minutes right now, and I feel like a 20-minute video or close to it is good enough for one day. So I'm probably going to wait till tomorrow to post the next video, but I will stay down here and create the next video. And that will be the Diana and British Bulldog 2-pack from Hastel Toys. So that was 92, and I believe I also got the 95 era British Bulldog in recently. So we should be able to look at that one. And we looked at the 97 era, I know that for sure, because I think we looked at 97 when we looked at the Rougeau brothers tag team. So, and either the next day or probably sometime this upcoming week, I am going to take all of the Davey Boy Smith figures that come from the different toy lines. I'm going to probably put them in line with how I value them. So, least favorite to most favorite. But, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching the video, taking the time out of your day. It always means the world to me. If you have a comment, please feel free to reach out. If not, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.